All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. Then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honour, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, fair round belly with good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6 age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cabin Fever Podcast. I'm one half of Old CFP. This is your boy, Sean, let's get it on Evans. And of course, my co-captain, Matt Cotton Gin Whitney. Woo! We're back. Man, this is a good podcast. We talk about the 2016 presidential election. Donald J. Trump versus Hillary. Don't know her middle name, Clinton. Maybe it's criminal. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'll Wikipedia that later. And we get down and we talk about UFC 205. And we talk about the Chargers. Woo! It's a good podcast, everybody. Please enjoy. And remember, all the world is a stage. We're living in some kind of crazy simulation. Because everybody, we have a new president. And his name is Donald J. Trump. What the fuck? Oh no. I'm sleeping well tonight, everybody, so please enjoy the podcast. And you can find Cabin Fever Podcast on iTunes, PodBeam, Podomatic, Podhunter, Podcasting Extraordinaire. Please like, subscribe, heart us, star us, thumbs up us, give us a good old comment.
Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever.
All right, man. How you doing?
Good. It's good to be here. I'm glad it's Friday. It's
TGIF.
the 18th, I think, of November.
Yeah.
And it's been a long work week, and then I almost, I took a nap before I came over because before that I was like, I don't want to do anything right now, but I'm super glad that I came. So
Yeah, I'm glad you came too. Yeah, because I really didn't have the best day of work, but still getting paid to take photos is pretty fucking awesome. But once I got here and I started cleaning up, I'm like, you know what? And then you hit me up about a time to meet up. I'm like, yeah, he's still on board. Let's do it. I'm not gonna pussy out just because I had a rough day. And I always feel a lot better after this podcast.
True.
So it's fun to just get in a good conversation with you and just shoot the shit. So yeah, I'm glad we're back. A lot of shit's happened. Let's talk about the football game.
Okay.
So last Sunday, met up with Matt, his sister, his girlfriend, and his mom. So it was a fun outing. We were able to tailgate a little bit at
Yeah.
Qualcomm, which is
Which
great.
is really cool.
It had been
Yeah.
so long since
Me
I had
too.
done that, and it was so much fun just to be there in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And a lot more pot smoke in the air than I'm like, I like
Celebration.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree.
Prop 64 just passed, so I think it was more of just like, hey, we can do this now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole tailgate scene. I really forgot how awesome it was. I could totally see why people maybe just pay to tailgate and then like use a generator and watch the game.
Right, exactly. Because you still kind of
It's
get
cheaper.
to, on the outward perspective, if you're watching the game, and you still get to hear the crowd and feel that energy.
Yeah.
So you're sort of there, and you
Yeah.
save a couple $100 probably.
Yeah, for real.
What is it, like $20 to
25.
25?
I think. Yeah.
Jesus
I know.
Christ.
I know. I was
When
looking
your
around at
mom
all
was
the
saying
cars.
it cost $5 to park there at one point. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, they've jacked it up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. For sure.
Parking lots are that great.
I know. But yeah, that was cool. You know, going to the football games live, I forget every time. I've only probably been to maybe 4 or 5 in my whole life, but
Yeah.
the energy is crazy. You know, it's such a more. It seems like such a more fast-paced. Everything's on the line kind of game when you're watching in person.
That's so true.
On TV, it seems like so much
because there's
slower.
no commercial breaks, you know,
Mhm.
like taking you out of that moment. You're always still there in the moment, and it does go a lot quicker for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I'm like, the game, it's already third quarter. Holy shit, it's already fourth quarter. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a back and forth match, and then it just slowly started to go heavily in the Dolphins' favor. Phillip Rivers had a couple of troubles with throwing the ball the other way, and
Which is sad because we hadn't seen him do that in
yeah,
a long time. It
right,
feels like he
right.
used to throw. I feel like a lot of interceptions or fall victim to a lot of turnovers.
Yep.
And this is the first time I'd seen him just really just fucking biff that ball
Yeah.
right into the receivers 3 times.
yeah, which is
So-
disappointing too because
They had the game.
as usual, he's continuing to break records. Either it's a NFL record or it's a club record within
Right.
the Chargers. So I mean, it's pretty cool. He's still doing his thing. Unfortunately, the game got away from him, and it just didn't work out for us. But it was
Yeah.
still a lot of fun to be there
Yeah.
in person, and it was interesting. Just even the walkout when the Dolphins fans are getting into it with
Yeah.
like some Charger fans. It's like, come on, it's just a fucking stupid football game, and
Yeah.
both teams suck. I think. I don't think the Dolphins are, doing that great. So it's not like a game that I guess it matters for them a little bit.
Yeah.
But for the Chargers, we're last
was-
in
yeah.
our league, and I don't know.
It was us going into our bye week too, so they definitely
Mm.
wanted to go in at 500. We would have been 5-5.
Which is not completely horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're in our division though. Everyone's kicking ass.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah. It
regardless.
really is.
But yeah, I see those fans and the back and forth and everything, and it just reminds me that like, these people probably have grown up coming to Charger games, coming to Qualcomm, and obviously no matter what city you're in, you're gonna have those like lifelong fans, and for here in our city, a new stadium has been up for debate for a few years. The team leaving our city has been up in the air for a few years, and for me, the fair weather fan, it's kind of like, well, okay, it's gonna happen. Whatever happens, happens. But it got me thinking a lot more about those people. Those people who are diehard football fans, are diehard Charger fans here in San Diego, and that's got to be a bigger, more emotional thing for them.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely.
If the
Absolutely.
Padres were in danger of leaving, I would certainly be upset, and maybe I go to one game a season.
Oh, for sure.
but that is like a lifelong, thing I've participated in. So, it's cool, and I still kind of feel that way. I like if they gotta stop holding it over our heads if they're gonna leave or
Oh.
not. I'm like, you might as well just leave. You're
Right.
You're, as an owner, I don't think it doesn't seem that you're not conveying a passion for our city
Right.
by constantly threatening to leave it.
Oh, right.
So if that's how you feel, then just go.
Yeah, I mean,
Dick.
it really turns people off. Even
Yeah.
the most hardcore fan who's been there through the 1-15 season, who've been
Yeah.
there when they weren't doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
and they still haven't really done anything the past couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to watch them. It's still great to have an actual team to root for.
Right.
And San Diego, we're I guess, considered a smaller market. But it's such a great city that we
Yeah.
do deserve a good, at least a football team here.
Yeah.
And definitely a baseball team, because it's much more affordable for the average human being to be able to go to a baseball game. And there's just so many of those games.
Yeah.
That we, like you were saying, like, it would suck if the Padres, like, started to threaten to move or something
know.
somewhere else. I'm like,
Yeah.
where the fuck you guys gonna go?
Yeah.
Who's gonna take you, Padres?
Yeah.
Better stay. Please?
What a treat for other baseball teams, though, to come to San Diego. You know? It's just
Exactly. It's beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Petco Park's badass. You're downtown. They can beat up on the Padres a little bit. Then they go party it downtown.
Bad
have
practice.
a good time. You're right.
nice. You know, up their stats a little bit. That's
Exactly.
funny. Aw. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was good times. Good times with family and friends.
Mm.
And, yeah, it was fun.
All right, so...
Distraction from the election.
Oh, yeah, great distraction. Oh, my gosh, absolutely. So, yeah, tonight, we haven't talked about this in forever, but tonight we're smoking watermelon hookah.
Oh, yeah.
Not out of a watermelon, but
No, not that
the
fancy.
sheesh is
Yeah.
watermelon. And it's really good.
Yeah, it's
What is it?
delicious.
Is it the Starbuzz?
Yes.
Yeah, Starbuzz, yeah. Definitely
Not
recommend
bad.
Starbuzz if, I don't know if people are still smoking hookah out there, but I still enjoy it. I still appreciate it.
I bought this at a keg and bottle craft brew place.
Yeah.
And they had just a tiny little stack of
Little-
hookahs in
yeah.
the corner,
Yeah.
maybe collecting some dust. I don't know. I think hookah's still pretty big.
Mhm.
There's a lot of hookah lounges in San Diego.
That's true, yeah.
Especially over the past, like, 3 or 4 years, I feel like.
Yeah.
And now I see a lot of places just offering it also in addition to their beer or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's definitely-
It is kind of a nice thing to have, just a little gathering place, get a group of friends, pass around the hookah, have some drinks,
yeah,
enjoy a conversation for a couple hours.
right.
It's a good time.
We're also drinking Belching Beaver, as San Diego's own Belching Beaver Hop Highway, their IPA, which has always been delicious. Belching Beaver just opened another tasting room in Ocean Beach.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, they're
couple weekends
killing
ago.
it. They're
No,
killing it.
I
That's
think
awesome.
That's the 4th.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This is really good. This is one of my favorite IPAs
Me too.
coming out of San Diego.
Yeah, it's not overpowering, but you still get that really good hoppy taste.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's like hardly any. There's not that. Some of the IPAs have that really high alcohol content, and they
Mhm.
have that kind of like aftertaste. It's almost like a barley wine. It's just that like.
No,
really
yeah, I totally know what you're
intense
saying. Yeah.
fermentation
Yeah.
flavor. But this one's like a little bit more subdued, I feel like. But
To me, like I'm getting like fruity tones.
Yeah.
It's really, really tasty.
it's that watermelon. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, these two are not a bad combo, that's for sure.
And I don't drink as much anymore, so it's nice to enjoy like a nice IPA.
Oh yeah,
Just
for
really
sure.
feel that buzz. going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I like your shirt, by the way. Sean's got a shirt. It's a bear with antlers, and it says beer below it.
Yep. It's actually a shirt that Mac wore on It's Always Sunny. And this is actually a cheap, like, knockoff Chinese version.
Oh,
I
no
did
way.
not know that when I was ordering it off of Amazon. There's a reason it only costs like $10.99 or something. But it's comfortable.
It's funny.
Yeah, but it's once I like looked at it like up close, I'm like, holy shit, this is like way off. This is a knockoff. But I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll just wear it every once in a
It
while.
reminds me when I see shirts like this now.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say it's a knockoff.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with the way shirts are designed now, like we are becoming Japan. Like
Yes.
you see those pictures online, and I'm stereotyping because I feel like it's a lot of like Asian countries. But you just see like kids wearing shirts with the most random, ridiculous like words or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, that makes no sense. But then I try to look at shirts like this objectively, and I'm like, it makes no goddamn sense. It's not advertising anything. It's an antler on a bear, like,
Yep.
or yeah, and it says beer.
It's completely.
It's not even a pun.
No, right? Yeah, it doesn't.
But
Is
I'm
this
like,
from
but I was
something?
like,
I don't
that's
know.
a cool shirt.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh yeah, beer. I like beer.
Yeah.
He's got a flannel on and a beanie, so it's just like he's like it's not a hipster look, it's like a woodsman almost, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what my style of clothing is. I'm still like basically
We're in our 30s.
dressing the same way as I have been.
Yeah, we're in our
Kinda.
30s. It like also just doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Very true.
That's how I feel. I have this hoodie I got from Costco.
Yeah.
And it's nice and it's
Yeah, it looks
comfortable,
good. Yeah.
And I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's my style.
Yes, you get to a certain point, you're just looking for comfort.
Oh, I rethink my Vans all the time because they're not comfortable.
Oh yeah.
And I wear shoes till they are obliterated, and these shoes have no soles in them. Vans barely do anyway.
Oh, I know.
It's
Yeah.
like walking on the ground, and I'm like, well, they just kind of like go with every pair of jeans that I have.
Right. It's hard to get rid of them.
Yeah, and every once in a while I'll put on my like running shoes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh god, these are the best.
It's like I'm walking on
Yeah.
clouds. This is amazing.
But I got jeans on, and I'm like,
Just looks weird.
Where
Yeah,
are my kids
right.
at? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I can't succumb to that.
Yeah.
I have to buy some New Balances and really kick it up.
Right.
My Kirkland, jacket.
All right, so let's hop in. Let's hop into it. Tentatively, let's hop into some election talk. All right, so on election night, we were doing a podcast, and Hillary's NSA came in and deleted everything we recorded, like a goddamn
I don't know what we said.
NSA snake bitch came in there. I don't know. Some red flags came about. I don't know.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
On Facebook and everything else, I love like the terminology that's come out of the election or whatever. Like the word libtard. I think it's so funny. And the funny one I read the other day that I hadn't read through the whole thing was someone was referring to Hillary and they called her Hill bitch.
Hill? That's a new one for me. Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Hill bitch?
I've heard
that's lazy and funny. At the same time.
yeah. I've heard Killery.
Yeah, Hillary is a big one.
Hitlery.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
And a couple
Hillary.
others. Yeah, well,
Hill bitch.
too many. I feel bad for her almost now.
I do too. Objectively, like, even it's just really mean thing. The internet does bring out the really worst in what people, because people don't have a filter, and there's also that anonymity, even though it's your name and everything. Like, you feel like you can say what you want, and you're typing with all emotion.
Oh yeah.
And so when you just really, when you Hill bitch, I mean, like, you would never say that to anyone's face ever.
You would never say that to her face.
And to
That's for
her
fucking
face.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't get a selfie with her if you saw her.
Hey, Hill bitch, come here. You dumb loser. No. Yeah, but I mean, it's just so aggressive. I don't like it. I did start like hiding posts from people, and obviously they were mostly Trump supporters, and it wasn't even because I wasn't really hearing anything about Trump. I was hearing just negativity in general.
Right. Yeah.
And it just stopped, especially after the election. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but like, it did bring. I feel like this one, especially, people have been talking about how this one's been so different. Now we're so split, and we were really divided.
I really
on
think
split.
social media is
Exactly.
revealing how split we really were. If social media was around when Al Gore and George Bush, that whole shit went down with Florida, it would have been insane too. And media was much different back then. Now it's more of a TMZ, like, let's just keep talking about grabbing pussy and just shit like
hot
that.
Button
yeah,
shit.
hot button shit. Just pick up those buzzwords, those hashtags that you can throw out there. Yeah, social media has completely changed the game, and it's crazy. And social media it definitely helped Trump get elected in a way, absolutely. And
it was
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, and was totally purported by a 24-hour news, because they just don't have enough stuff to talk about, and they're not going to spend 24 hours talking about policy.
Yeah,
which might be or history.
History would be awesome.
Or explaining the Electoral College maybe like a few weeks leading up to it, because we're going to have a whole crop of new voters, and let's face a lot of them.
Let's remind them from when they were in high school, and you're taking all these classes, just learning the basics about the legislative branches and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Remind them how the Electoral College works, because now they're trying to get rid of the Electoral College, or some of the Democrats are throwing it out there, which I totally agree. Get fucking rid of it. Let's just do the popular vote, or however you need to do with it.
Very antiquated.
But I could just see. I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, we were talking about 24-hour news cycle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Go.
Just that they're exactly like spend a few hours on the history on other presidents.
Oh, right.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
Some like actual content. But you know what? I think when the bottom line is that to produce that kind of stuff just costs money, whereas they could just throw a bunch of tweets up on the screen
Very
and then
true.
talk about it for 20
Very
minutes.
true.
You know.
And then they'll get these people that you don't even know who they are to come on to act like they're experts on whatever it may be, like the black experience or a certain political view or this or that, and you're like, I've never heard of this person. I'm supposed to like take their word for this, and they're just really on there to like create division and like argue with each other and or maybe even lead someone down a certain pathway just to get a reaction out of them. That's what a lot of this is turned into. Just let's get that reaction. Yeah, we just need that one little viral clip to get in there. And I think the media just doing all the coverage on Trump, saying Trump, getting in people's psyche, I think even created more of a fervor for Trump. I think it like worked the opposite for what they were trying to achieve, because they were really, to me, I really do think they were trying to make people think that Hillary had this huge lead. I don't know who they were polling, but a lot of people weren't saying they were voting for Trump and voted for Trump.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So there was something was going wrong, and I've heard this term come up quite a few times, called an echo chamber, which is which is true on both sides, and in so many different little factions and facets of humanity. You can be stuck in a little Christian bubble of just talking about Christianity and Jesus, or this little atheist bubble, but when you're just talking about atheism, there's so many little echo chambers.
Right.
I think
that create division.
It definitely creates division, and I think people are realizing that the news just isn't in touch with reality.
No, it's
because
not news at all.
And now they're trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Which is just, it blows me away. To me, this is like a huge, like, weird psychological experience that we all need to just take note of like how people are reacting to Trump being elected. Like, I get it. I think if Hillary would have won, there would have been some sort of backlash a little bit. I don't know to what degree. I don't know if people would be going out blocking freeways. Have you seen some of those videos?
Yes.
Like large groups of people just blocking freeways, which is dangerous for everyone involved.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I will say though, the video footage I saw of people marching toward downtown LA through one of their major blocks was pretty profound.
Oh,
it was
absolutely
unreal to see how many people were out.
Yeah.
And it did. I thought it was good. I thought it was a more healthy expression that they weren't on the freeway.
Right. Yeah.
And then it was also a very finger on the pulse of how people feel about it, enough to take to the streets in that way.
Yeah.
And from what I heard, it wasn't violent or anything like that, which is
right.
great.
Right.
But
I'm all about non-violent protest. That's what, I guess, if you need to get your word out there, that's the way to do it.
But I agree with you as far as like this, you say like big psychological experience, but like I think the sad thing is that people don't have that level of critical thinking of like what they're being fed, and like if you're sitting in the middle of an echo chamber, you're not gonna be like, hey, what's outside this chamber? Everything here is great, and so I think,
yeah, and then everyone else around you's getting all angry, and it's building up, and they're frustrated, like, whoa, what happened? We were told something, and now it didn't come to life, and we put all our energy, mental energy, into this one person, and now they're not there to be. I don't know if they created a savior, or they really expected a lot out of this, and
it always gets to that level. I
right? Yeah.
Every election.
Yeah, and then I think anyone who voted for Trump, just watch him like a hawk. I'm just saying, if you think he's going to do one thing, just keep your fingers crossed, because you never know. Once he gets in there, shit might get real, and then it might just be the same old, just like as we've been continuing down the same path we've been going down.
It's scary that he just gets to bring in whoever he wants to.
That is crazy. That's weird.
I
And
didn't
I'm
really- I
worried
didn't
about
really even
Pence,
consider that.
his vice president. I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, if they start appealing like these things that we've established, like gay marriage and abortion, even though there's some degrees of abortion that I'm not quite, I don't know, I don't know enough about it to, but
Yeah.
I'm hesitant about it. But I think women deserve the right to an abortion if they want to, gay marriage, all these like things that I think all these people are really angry and afraid that they're going to lose like these certain rights that they've fought for and they've really worked towards establishing. And I just hope that he doesn't fuck with that shit. Appeal Obamacare, I think that's fucked up, and
Yeah.
put something else that's much more thought out and
Right.
will actually help people type
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know if that's even possible, but who knows? Man, they're just so
that's
they're
a hard one.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and I'm a little worried too. Like, there is something about having a Republican president and then dominating on the what is it, the Congress?
Congressional level.
Yeah, the congressional level. It's
Yeah.
see, that worries me too. You know, so I mean, I get why people are freaked out right now,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
let's just see where this goes. He's just the elect right now. He's not even in office yet. You still get to see what happens for the next couple of months.
It kills me though to see for people not to understand that unless you got like a lot of money, nothing they do is really going to be, they sell it to you, like I'm going to cut taxes and all this stuff. I'm like,
Oh
yeah, we barely,
We do not really
we
feel
don't-
that.
on
We're not
either
in that
side.
bracket yet.
Yeah, we're really not.
Yeah.
But go on about that. But yeah, I agree with you. We gotta watch it. We gotta see what happens, and God, really, it just like pray for the best. I mean, I don't understand how this guy even knows what he's in for.
I
know,
just
that's
hope
scary.
he.
It's like who really does? But like you're plucking a businessman out
Right.
of that world, and you're putting him into a completely different world.
Yeah,
Maybe-
all I know is there's no one. If America, there's no one to go to if you want to go bankrupt. You know, there's no one to go to. He is at the tippity top, so he's
Yeah.
barely nudging that ship where it needs to go. I just
Right.
hope it's in a positive way. Like, honestly, like brings more factories here. Like, actually brings
Yeah.
jobs and things like that people do need. And I don't know, man. I'm
Taking
still
us out of-
really hesitant. I didn't
Yeah.
vote for Trump, so if people think I'm a huge Trump supporter, I did sleep very well when I found out he won. Like, as I stayed
Yeah,
up
right.
pretty late, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just glad Hillary's not in there. I'm just shocked that people didn't do more digging into her history and things like that. Hillary has said plenty of nasty things that have been recorded. I think are personally more nasty than Trump saying that, locker room talk with Billy
Right.
Bush.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe
Stuff's
that's
like
it's just my
bullshit.
perspective. I know women have a completely different perspective, and some men, and everyone's got their own little point of perspective. But that's just mine. It's not great that he said that, but it was
No.
11 years ago, and he was no thought of him. He wasn't going to run for president
Yeah.
then. He was just some fucking billionaire talking it up with some guy.
But it's like like what it comes down to. It's just a person that's going to steer the ship a few degrees here and
Yep.
there. But for everyone else, where it's the idea of a leader,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really
It does set the tone
it's
of the
really
nation.
trumped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sets the tone.
Yeah.
And so you do make these disparaging remarks about people, and they're not looking at big picture. They're seeing this figurehead
Mhm.
saying something negative about them personally.
Yeah.
And of course that's gonna, you and I don't feel it as much,
Right.
and that's just the truth of it. But I am a compassionate person with empathy, and no, I didn't vote for him because I'm like, that's ridiculous. But like you said, people were gonna vote for him, and they weren't gonna come forward and say that because of who he is.
Right.
But underlying, they were like, well, fuck this bitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
And they were just going to do it, not voice that they were.
Yeah.
You know.
And I do hope that people didn't. There's obviously people out there that voted for Hillary just because she's a woman, but I honestly believe there will be down the road a actual viable awesome female candidate that will come out and represent America in a great way. Hillary's not that person.
No, not at all.
Not at all. And her
Some
time
young,
is... Yes.
powerful woman.
Exactly. And they're
without
out
such
there.
a
They are out
storied
there.
History,
Exactly. They're out there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Without all the baggage that comes with being in politics for 30 plus years, being a lawyer that did some really shady fucking shit, and let's just move past that.
Yeah. I don't see an 8-year Trump.
No.
He's too
So
old.
he's old. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right.
She was
yeah.
too old too.
Yep. Yeah. So this will be very, very interesting, and he will not be able to do much in, let's say, 3 years, because re-election time, he's going to have to start running again. So I mean, his major platforms was building a wall. I doubt he's going to get permission to start building a wall, like a real
What
wall, like a
wall?
wall. Yeah, what does this wall look like exactly? I think he just said. I think that was just a nice
It's an
hashtag for
idea.
him. It's just an idea.
Yeah, no one
I
understands.
think maybe it's more of a metaphorical wall,
I
just
think
making
so.
a little harder for certain people to come into the country. I don't know.
And I mean, not to completely deviate, but yeah, if you're gonna deport like 12 million illegal immigrants
Mhm.
that yes are in some way or another costing us money, you're talking about 12 million people that provide some kind of infrastructure
That's
for
true.
industry.
It's true.
Because I doubt there's 12 million people coasting on the backs of American taxpayers.
Right.
They're out there doing something
Yeah.
to earn money for themselves.
They've got to
and
pay
their
rent
family.
somewhere,
Yeah.
someplace. They're feeding into the system somehow, and that
Yeah.
you're very right. Yeah, you just yank that, and they are the base. Those people are the base. If you want to talk about this, I do a lot of restaurant photography, and everyone in the kitchen are Hispanics, from the dishwasher to the guys cooking these amazing meals. They're all Hispanic dudes. They're Mexican guys, and they're back there talking Spanish, listening to Spanish music, and having a good old time. So there might have been illegal in there. The guy washing dishes might have been illegal. To take him out of the system just seems odd, but you do need to do it legally.
Yeah.
There is a process to do it. Maybe you're afraid to do it. Maybe it's too much money. I don't know what
Lack of
deters.
education.
I don't know what
Yeah.
deters people from stopping going about it in a legal way. All right, so an example. So when I was getting a lift back from the game, a Brazilian guy picked me up, and he was talking about how he's got a visa here for 6 months, and we were just kind of shooting the shit, and eventually it got down to he was honestly a little worried now that
Right.
Trump's president, and I'm like, I tried to assure him, like, I honestly, you're here to work hard, and he was talking about how he has this other business as also with Lyft driving, so he's actually here contributing, working, doing his thing. So I'm like, you're not the person he's talking about. Like, if you're working hard, you have a plan. I say reapply for another visa. His wife's pregnant, so I think he's gonna anchor that baby here. Whatever you got to do, what you got to do. Which is great. So it's like he seemed like a hardworking, really nice guy, and he was here to kind of live the American dream, because he was coming from Brazil, which has no fucking economy. We were talking about the Olympics, how they built all these fucking things. They're completely useless buildings. The economy is shit down there, and you got to do something, right? He's
Right.
got a kid on the way, so why not go to a prosperous country like America, where anyone can pretty much do anything when it comes to furthering yourself along. It just takes a lot of hard work and fortitude and knowing the right people, making the connections, but it's all fucking possible. White, black, Mexican, Asian, there are so many people out there that are really prospering. So all I say is, if you're here to have a good time, just do it. Go about it in the most legal way possible. Get here, make your money, have a good time, put down your roots, and welcome to America.
Yeah. Especially here for us in San Diego, close to the border.
Yeah.
I can imagine that someone in the Midwest, when Trump's talking about building a wall and stuff, who really have no context of borders or anything, they're like, yeah, I don't want them coming up here. Bob, they must think it's some,
They're still thinking. They're thinking about Juarez. They're thinking about like the borders
Yeah.
in Arizona, where like gang violence and shit's going down. But the average person coming up from Mexico is just here to work. They're not like real. And I know he said rapists and shit like that, and there are rapists. there
Both
are
sides of the
rapists.
wall.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
All over the place, they're
Yeah.
rapists. So it's like, I don't honestly think he was meaning every Hispanic person's a rapist, and they just run with that narrative, and it gets exhausting.
Right.
So I don't think Trump chooses his words carefully, but I do think he does have the best intentions for the country. I hope so. My fingers are crossed. Like I said, I never really was in the Trump camp or anything like that, but hey, let's try this out. Why not? He's not the same old politicians that we've seen over and over. Even though I think he's tied to it, like he's a billionaire. It's like he's in a weird club that we have no idea about. You know, all these social circles and stuff like that. You have enough money, you can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And he can talk to anybody
and
he
that's
wants.
How he ran his campaign.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I can do what I want. I can say what I want.
Yeah. I think a lot of Americans are like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this." Like, fuck all this PC bullshit. Let's do this.
That's true.
But he also got a lot of crude dummies behind him too, and I think that really like muddied up the water for some people.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait out and see what actually happens. And I think everybody should be watching him. Everybody.
Yeah.
Just like, if he fucks up, tweet at him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I know. I added him on my Facebook page, so I get all his updates.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Things,
It's
things he said,
interesting,
and,
man.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I gotta. This is
We're in a new age
connection
now.
to him. Yeah.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
gotta see what's going on here.
And you know, even just building up to like when Obama was president, it was weird seeing him on like The Daily Show or seeing him on Conan or these other like shows like Jay Leno, and you're like, what the fuck? Why is the president on these things?
Yeah.
Why is he on TV right now? Shouldn't he be doing something?
Right.
I don't remember seeing Bush on here like strategery. You know, they were busy making fun of him. Oh,
Yeah.
let's have Obama on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a change in times.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see Trump all over the place. He'll probably barely be in the White House. He'll be
Yeah. I don't
doing
know.
all these fucking crazy shit.
We'll see. Hey, it's gonna be
My prediction. He's just gonna be flying all over the world on Air Force One, meeting with everybody around the world, making deals, whatever he does.
Saint Trump
Yep.
declined his presidential salary, which is.
Oh yeah, make $1 a year or something.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So did the CEO of Costco.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, like, please don't. I mean, that's great, but you're a billionaire. Like.
Right. Yeah. When you're a billionaire, you can say, it's cool. I don't need
Yeah.
your chump change or $200,000 a year, whatever it is now for president.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Strange times indeed.
All right, I say let's move on from the
All right.
election. We got that out of our system a little
Yeah.
bit. You want to talk a little 205?
Yeah, let me.
You want to get another one?
Yeah.
Can you grab me 1, 2, please? All right, UFC 2205.
Yep.
I say you started off because you actually got to see the fights.
Yeah.
I unfortunately missed a little bit, then I had to go back and piece it together, watch some shitty footage of some fights, and then I was able to all piece it together eventually, and then I was able to watch all the other YouTube footage and press conferences and all that good stuff. So
Yeah. Well, thinking back,
What-
the first fight
Yeah.
that jumps out at me was the two women who were from Poland.
Yep.
I cannot say their names. One was-
Joanna Jędrzejczyk and the other one, Polina. I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the card.
That fight to me was stands out looking back because one was the reigning champ and the girl was like absolutely crazy. The other girl was one was the champ. The other girl, the up and comer, cool, calm, collected, looking for a challenge.
Winking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And just really did stand up to her, and barely. I feel like barely lost that fight. And then it was just cool to see the amount of respect from the champion afterward because you could see it in her like, whoa, I had to just really fucking work for that
Oh yeah.
victory.
Oh, yeah.
This girl took a pounding.
Oh.
Literally, and just would not back down, and it was that was one of those fights where you're like, damn, that was a really good fight. That was that's what you want to see.
Absolutely.
Especially coming up from the women, like a lot of times I feel like it's a blowout
Mhm.
fight. that was just such a solid matchup and stuff like that, and I'm excited to see, what the other girl does. She obviously learned a lot from
Absolutely
facing a champion like that, and really standing up to her. So, and I bet she's a little nervous too. I'm sure coming away from that, like, wow, that girl really challenged me.
Yeah, first off, that was probably Carolina's the highest profile fight she's ever been in. The nerves, being at 205, going to these press conferences like that, and just like worldwide attention. And she put up a good fight. Joanna is so goddamn good. She is
really good,
non-stop, ruthless. But Carolina messed up her face though.
Yeah. And she couldn't land any of those kicks that have really, like, done, and she was trying.
Oh, yeah.
But she just couldn't connect, because if she would have, I would have been game over, like a lot of her other fights and stuff, so. But yeah, she's a great fighter.
Mm-hmm. So, eventually, I guarantee they'll face up again, those two. And it would be great if they were to, like, fight in Poland or somewhere near there. Get that crowd behind them, because they every once in a while they'll go into European countries, have the UFC over there. I think they were just in Belfast today, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the one that jumped out at me.
All right. All right. So let's do the other female fight. We have Miesha Tate and Raquel Pennington.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real disappointed with that fight. At least on Miesha Tate, like I was really pulling for her, but. It seemed like when she got hit in the face a couple of times, maybe she really hurt her nose in that other fight, like at 200, when she lost her title. Maybe her nose hasn't healed up properly.
It's just instantly.
Yeah, instantly it just seemed like she kind of shut down. And then she kind of announced her retirement after the fight, after she lost.
Yeah.
But that was also, it was a good fight. Raquel was beast.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And I wasn't expecting her to be that good, because I just don't know the female fighters that much,
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed to hear that she retired, but I totally understand. I mean, she's had a great career. Yeah. She was at least champion, and she got that belt around her waist. I would have loved to have seen her at least one more time with Ronda Rousey, depending on what happens with Ronda and
Amanda
to see
an actual fight with her and Ronda.
Right, yeah.
And who knows how the new Ronda will be.
I'm very curious. To be honest, I'm not that excited about her fight coming up. But we'll see.
I'm excited to see if Ronda's figured out now. Because she was taking people out in 6 seconds, and as soon as she's struck, then she was down.
Yep.
So people figured her out. Is she going to get into a situation where she's forced to actually fight, really fight again? And can she stand up to that? Because that's going to be really telling. Because
absolutely.
No one laid a finger on her in all
That's
of
true.
the fights.
Yeah.
Until Holly Holm came along and really rocked her.
Yeah. And
then she was done.
Yep.
And we're gonna. I'm kind of excited to watch it, just to see what happens. I'm hoping she can pull back and actually engage in a fight that she wins.
No, I feel like she'll definitely be coming in this next fight with Amanda Nunes with full camp figured out completely. Hopefully, she's just been studying Amanda Nunes.
Yes.
Is gonna take her time when she gets back in the ring, because they always talk about ring rust and getting back into fighting shape after kind of a long stint of not doing anything. She kind of had a bunch of movies fell out after she lost the championship, and then of course the whole loss with the championship itself.
So Nunes is the champ, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and
she's the champ. Yep, she beat Miesha Tate 200. Yep.
And that was a really good fight.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And she's a beast, but
yeah. Ronda, she's a whole new level. I mean, if she can take it what she was doing previously and just take it up a notch, I think she'll just run through Amanda.
True.
Who knows? Still Amanda, she's tough. There's a reason she beat Miesha Tate. I mean, she just knocked the shit out of her. That's what they've been talking about with the women's division. It's just because it was kind of Ronda and Miesha for a while. There was like the only real competitors, and then now you have this new crop of girls that have just kind of been studying, working their asses off, and now they're really mixing it up in the game now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. That's cool though.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, let's talk about Yoel Romero and Chris Weidman. That was an interesting fight.
Yeah.
I chose Weidman in that fight again.
Yeah, me too.
Weidman and Yoel, they're in the middleweight division. They're both in contendership for the middleweight championship, which Michael Bisping currently holds right now. And, man, that was a tough fight. And to me, Weidman, I had him winning in the first round. Kind of was almost even, if not Yoel in the second round. I don't know. Maybe. But it seemed like Yoel, he was kind of pulling some funny tricks. He poured water all over himself, and then the ref had to come in and be like,
That's
wipe
right.
him down.
That's right.
And he's been accused of doing shit like that quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, trying to get himself a little extra time to kind of rest up, catch his breath type of thing.
Because he's older.
He's
dude.
39 years old,
Yeah.
man, but he looks like a crazy superhero, and
Yeah.
everyone's questioning, like, are you still somehow, like, tricking USADA somehow? Like, what the fuck are
Yeah.
you doing, man?
So, I know you didn't get to watch the fight live, but did you see his interaction with Bisping afterwards?
Oh yes,
They kinda cut
I
to
saw it on
Bisping after
YouTube.
that, yeah.
He's like, I'm coming from you, boy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
coming from you.
And Bisping, at the end, alluded to him, like, injecting steroids.
Oh, I
and
didn't
stuff like-
see that. Oh, that's
well,
funny.
First of all, was just
Oh, he flipped him
blatantly
off,
flipping
yeah.
the bird,
Yeah,
though, which was
yeah.
so great.
He's like,
He's just standing up there
fuck
like,
you.
yeah, he's like, fuck you, who cares? Like, I'm not afraid of you at all. And then
Yeah.
you lose him, like injecting steroids,
Right,
and that was
right.
so fun. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
this is great. Yeah, he's just obviously just. Well, does that secure him a fight with Bisping? Or?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just heard today that next spring, so spring 2017, it'll be Yoel Romero versus Michael Bisping for the middleweight championship.
Okay.
I'm kind of disappointed. I really wanted
Yeah.
to see him and Weidman, and I think Bisping wanted it to be him and Weidman because they were talking so much shit back and forth. Like, Weidman really disrespected Bisping. Like, he didn't
Really?
think he would be. He doesn't think he's really a great champion, even
Huh.
though he beat Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
And Luke Rockhold beat him, so it's like, well, okay, I don't know where you see. Maybe he just feels like he got in a lucky shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then because he fought Dan Henderson,
Yeah.
maybe he was thinking it was a gimme fight. But fucking Dan Henderson probably won that fight. I mean, if you were to really look at Michael Bisping and then
I
Dan
know.
Henderson after that fight,
Yeah.
you would have said Dan won that one. But
Yeah.
you know, it's all about the points and shit.
Yeah.
It's electoral college.
He survived that one.
Oh, he survived
Yeah.
exactly, and
Yeah.
did just enough to squeak it in his favor. Which that's
Yeah.
sometimes that's a fight.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not a lopsided thing like Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. Holy shit! Well, first, before we get to that, the amount of blood that was pouring out of Weidman's head after.
Right.
All right, so Weidman goes to
Yeah.
shoot to take down Yoel, and Yoel just launches himself in the air, and his knee connects with Weidman's head,
Yeah.
and then Weidman's on the ground, knocked out, and then he like sits up, and it's just blood pouring down
Yeah.
and just dripping, and then the mat, obviously after it was just covered with blood, and you're just like, did he just crack his head open? Like, is he cracked open
That
like
was
an egg?
intense.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I like when we were watching the fights, my girlfriend showed up right after that
Mhm.
fight, and they were watching the next fight, and there was a huge blood stain on the ground. I was like, "Hey, that's from the last fight." She's like, "What'd they do? Just like run a towel over it real quick, you know?"
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was like still so fresh. I'm like, "Yeah, it's like a crime scene in there." It was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
intense, but yeah, that was pretty damn intense.
Yeah, I wonder what they do with those mats after. They must just burn them or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Wash it. We'll get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
blood out. Next fight.
Dana White's like,
Save that
"Clean
money.
it up.
Yeah.
It's an expense." It's a good mat. Yeah, but
So
yeah.
I'm curious to see where Weidman goes from here.
Yeah, I
now.
know.
I'm a little
Yeah.
bummed. You know, I don't know.
How old's Weidman?
The
not
problem
that
with
old,
Weidman, he's been injured a few times. He
Oh,
had
okay.
major neck surgery. He's had some injuries from time to time. So he's just been a wrestler his whole life, and
Right.
he got knee damage from all that shit. So it's just he's not that old. He's not Yoel Romero old or anything
Yeah.
by that. It's just if his body can hold out, he can still get back into contendership. He's just bumped down now.
Yeah, I
think,
know.
Because Luke Rockhold, I'm assuming, is above him. I think Luke's going to be fighting pretty soon. and then maybe he'll face whoever wins between Yoel and Michael Bisping. Who, I don't know. That fight games, who knows what the fuck's going to happen in a couple months. It's all crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, before we get to Connor and Eddie, let's do Woodley, Tyrone Woodley, and Thompson. Wonder Boy, what's his name? Steven.
Yeah.
Steven Wonderboy Thompson, yeah.
Steven Kellogg.
So this was an interesting fight. So, if you don't know Wonderboy, he's very tall, lanky, skinny. He's a karate guy. He was like 53-0 in kickboxing, like insane record. He's got a pretty good record in MMA. And then Tyrone Woodley, he's just stocky, beast of a dude, like real serious knockout power. Obviously, he knocked out Robbie Lawler and kind of stopped his reign as welterweight champion. So this is like kind of an interesting fight, I thought. It seemed like a weird mix-up, like really like a mishmash of like different styles. Like Tyrone's more of a wrestler, a brawler, and Steven's more of a kickboxer, points, like get in there real quick, get some kicks in, get some punches in.
Look dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, I mean, so overall it was, first they gave it to Woodley.
Yep.
And then they called it back and said, no, it was a draw. Right. And
a majority draw or something. There's something
Woodley
about the
had it, I feel like, in the beginning, but toward the, first of all, Wonderboy took a vicious pounding.
He really did, and
where you thought it was over a couple different times.
Oh yeah.
They're not only hits but takedowns.
And submission attempts from Tyrone. Guillotine attempt. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about because Wonderboy, his head's small and he's got like a narrow head, so he was able to kind of like, because if Tyrone was able to lock his underneath his chin, it would have been over. He would have been choked out. He would have either tapped or passed out, and he would have won the fight. But that was intense. That was an insane part of the fight where he's just fighting out of that guillotine. Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna get it? And then eventually able to escape out of it. It was incredible.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
To watch him do that and come back and to I guess land enough punches to make it a draw. I loved his fighting style. Wonderboy's fighting style. Hanging his like a puppet, or just hanging his arms up in the air.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I felt like he's like leaving himself exposed, but then I realized like, no, Willie, like he has to have his defense up at all time, because one kick from that guy and he would have been down.
Oh
and
yeah.
You could see he was just waiting for his chance to open up, but Willie's so big, so stocky.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his defenses up the whole time, and he really couldn't get in there and connect, like I feel like, which would have been a good determinant of the fight. So
yeah,
it was really good. There was a good.
He
matchup.
really used his length and his distance to keep Tyrone away from really hitting him. He did get him with a couple of good shots, and he definitely stumbled Steven quite a bit, and almost got him. So goddamn close. But you know what? They're already talking about a rematch because it was a draw. So, but it does go in Tyrone's favor because one of the judges got him as winning the bout.
And he's the champ.
Right. So more than likely it will be a rematch right after.
That's a good rematch.
It will be a great rematch because now they've both faced each other finally. So now they're going to come in with a completely different game plan, like a more refined game plan. So fascinating to see where it goes from here.
Right. Absolutely.
And the audience was definitely on Wonderboy's side. That's what I took away from.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. I really felt like they wanted him to win. Yeah.
I guess after seeing him come back from those takedown attempts and getting rocked pretty hard.
I think it really won. Yeah.
It
like,
won
holy
me,
shit. Yeah.
Because there was at least 2 or 3 times where I was like, it's done.
Yeah.
And for him to stand up to him, that's pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it gave me a good respect for him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. So.
All right.
About the
Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez.
So I didn't know too much about Eddie Alvarez.
Right.
So I didn't know what to expect. I knew Conor was fighting in a higher weight class.
Mm-hmm. More of his proper weight class.
And that's what you kept saying,
what I
too.
would say,
so, I did remember that going into it. Connor, he is a confident man.
Mm-hmm.
He kept so calm during that fight.
Oh.
It was eerie.
It
was
was
bothering.
crazy.
It was. I had so much anxiety watching him do that because it kept reminding me of the Anderson Silva Weidman fight,
Yes.
where Anderson Silva was so cocky, kept bringing his hands down
Yes.
and then getting rocked.
Yes.
And then I was like, don't do that. Don't lose that way.
Exactly.
Fight this fight. But I underestimated Connor completely because
Yeah.
he was in control of that entire
I think
match.
that's why he had that demeanor, because he just felt it in that match when he's face to face and he's looking at his eyes. He could just see, like,
oh, absolutely.
oh, I got this guy.
It wasn't even the normal Connor.
Oh.
He walked into that match
Yeah.
like with a very solid demeanor,
Mhm.
not being boisterous, like there for the kill, pretty much. Yeah,
Exactly.
he did like his little walk when he got in.
Yeah, which I love. Call it the billionaire walk or something like that.
But yeah, he was just so focused, so deliberate. I mean, that was crazy. It was really unreal to watch. Him reaching out,
Oh, yeah.
almost as if he's dictating the fight.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit you, and then just rocking him.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez didn't know what you could see it in his eyes. He's like,
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know what the fuck I'm doing right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Connor would talk to him. Every time he would, like, leg kick him or try to hit him, he'd be like, fuck, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? Oh, oh lad.
It's McGregor. It's on my stomach. It was unreal.
But yeah, and then when he put his
Yeah.
hands, I'm like,
I didn't like that.
don't do that. He's
I
gonna
know.
knock you out. But it worked out. Holy shit, did it work out for him?
And that, in hindsight, yeah, he had complete control over that fight.
Yeah.
He was just biding his time,
Mhm.
really. And I didn't even know this, but I've heard since that he called it beforehand. He's like, I'm going to knock him out in the second round.
Yeah.
With like a couple of minutes to go.
Mystic Mac. Yeah,
And
that's what he
And
called
then he
it.
did. And I'm like, he was just waiting. He was counting it down in his head. And then he just finally just did it. I think coming away from it and talking about taking a break from the UFC and he's going to have a kid and everything.
Right.
I mean, it makes me think like he had this calculated out way before the fight.
Oh yeah,
He was
very
not only was
calculated.
he in control of the fight that happened, it was a move for him saying like,
Right.
no, I'm the best. I want more. This is what's up.
Absolutely.
I called this fucking fight.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, a really mix of skill, bravado,
Yes.
and intelligence.
Absolutely.
Is what I feel like we're seeing with Conor.
Absolutely.
And I also think that him losing to Nate Diaz was so important because he's not then this grand undefeated champion. He's also a fighter that can go into a variable exhibition match and lose and still keep his head up and admit his loss and come back a champion. And that just garners like a whole new respect for him.
Absolutely. I think, after that first Nate Diaz fight, and then him just accepting defeat so graciously, and realizing that he had a lot of training to do to get to the point where he could even be competitive against Nate Diaz, that was huge. I think that won over a lot of people, and I think now that after this Eddie Alvarez fight, there's a lot of people. Eddie is good. He's a great fighter, and he even admitted in interviews after this fight that he just completely, Conor took him out of his game plan. He did the complete opposite of what he was supposed to do.
Really?
Well, people were even saying, like, did you throw the fight? Like, what the fuck happened? That was not you. Like, we've never seen you fight like that. But Conor McGregor, and I really do think this, his mindfuck games, his confidence, his aura, like, took Eddie and just completely took him out of his normal flow state of being a fighter,
Right.
and
I
completely
think so,
knocked
yeah.
him into a crazy stratosphere. And I don't
Survival
even think he
mode.
even had to punch him once, and he
Yeah.
was already seemed like he was a little out of it before he got in there.
Yeah.
It was such a fascinating fight to watch,
Yeah.
and it had me on the edge of my seat as I'm watching on my little fucking computer screen.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god, because
Yeah.
I was avoiding shit. Avoiding media and social
Uh-huh.
media and shit. Oh, but it was fascinating fight.
Yeah.
And then to be able to watch like all the interviews and stuff on YouTube, and then now interviews, like radio interviews from, not Connor doesn't really do radio interviews, but John Kavanaugh, his coach, who's really great, does some really good interviews, just kind of like going through the game plan of what Connor was thinking. And this guy, like you were saying, he's very calculated. He's like 10 steps ahead of everyone else. He's got it planned out already what his legacy is going to be, and he's continually to actually come through with his predictions.
Yeah.
He's making it happen. It's
Right.
working. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a two belt champion right now. He's probably gonna have to give up the 145 eventually, because you can't hold up a division like that.
Yeah.
You need UFC still needs to make money and still keep people in that division viable and,
Yeah.
and up there.
But
So
it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter,
Because they held
exactly. It does
Yeah.
not matter, because
Yeah.
Connor can go anywhere from here now.
Yeah.
They're talking about bringing in Nate Diaz eventually for that third fight
Right.
because Nate Diaz fights it naturally at 155. That's his weight class.
Yeah.
So he could come in and challenge for the 155 belt now,
Right.
which is crazy. Or any other 155, because Khabib,
Oh, right.
Nemiroff, he fought in that fight, and the whole fight he was in the undercard, and he's yelling at Dana White about, "Give me the fight with Connor." You know, he's like yelling at Dana as he's with his match, like he's
Yeah.
fighting this dude. I forget this guy's name, but Khabib ended up winning.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just
So what is going on with that? Is that the next contenders? Could
it should be. The dude's
Right.
24-0.
Right.
24 wins, 0 losses
And
in the
what-
UFC,
what
or
class?
at least the MMA.
And he's in which class?
He's in 155. He's lightweight. Or
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with
Okay.
the belt that Connor just won.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two
Yeah.
guys, Tony Ferguson and Khabib, are both kind of in the contendership for the 155.
Okay.
So we'll see, but they're not really like big names. If it was to be Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 3
Yeah.
for the 155 title, that's a big event.
Yeah.
That's a big moneymaker.
But I still feel like
But these other guys deserve
they deserve it, and
a title shot
I
too.
still, at this
Make
point-
them superstars.
Right.
Why not make Connor's a superstar? Make these other guys superstars too.
I feel like anyone in contention to the belt that has to fight Connor now is a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will want to
Exactly.
see him defend his belt.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
What is
They want
this
to see
guy made
Connor
of?
now, really.
Yeah, and they want to see him defend
Yeah.
his belt.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah,
a
what-
weird thing to watch.
What was the
It
atmosphere like? So you're in a bar, like
Yeah.
everyone else around you. Like what was the atmosphere like for you?
Well,
or and just other people around you and who you were with.
I couldn't really get a feel as far as the crowd went, like
Mhm.
who was going for whom. But it was exciting. It was definitely exciting, and there was that definite anticipation. But like I said, Connor's demeanor now when he came out was a little bit different. I feel like was a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more focused, and I feel like the crowd was kind of in that mode too of like, what's this guy gonna do?
Right.
And so it was a little bit. Everyone was kind of like hesitant.
Yeah.
Whatever. And a lot of people like react to Connor's arrogance and his boisterousness, and I think normally I would, but with him now, you know where it comes from, and it's not without I don't know what's the word. It's not just being an asshole to be an asshole. It comes from a guy who's put in the work and proved himself, and it's almost a natural extension of that. So I don't know. I feel like, and I was just listening to Ari Shaffir earlier today.
Shane Moss.
With Shane Moss.
Yeah,
Did you
great
listen to that
podcast.
one?
Great
Yeah, it
podcast.
was awesome.
I just listened to it today.
Yeah, and at the
Awesome.
end he touches on the fights.
Yes.
And he says he's like, I'm a Conor McGregor fan. He's like, I wasn't. I thought he was like an asshole or whatever, but he's just a man who's like proven himself.
Yes.
And I feel like, yes, and then, him going against Nate Diaz a couple of times, I feel like, and now
At
coming
170.
At 170,
he was currently
yeah.
he was the 145
yeah,
champion.
but now coming and then winning the belt in such a meticulous fashion,
Yeah.
just really I really feel like blew everyone's hair back.
Yeah.
That was maybe a hater or whatever, and be like, oh, this guy's an actual champion. Like,
Yes.
and he does these like crazy stunts or whatever, but when it comes down to fighting, he doesn't carry that into the ring.
He backs it up.
He just cut and does what he has to, and I'm like, God damn, that's so fun to watch. And yeah, I want to see anyone that feels like they could come up and challenge him for the belt. I want to see him defend that belt.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him. You know, every fight's going to be different.
Oh, absolutely.
And you got to prepare differently.
Absolutely.
And nothing's a given in that sport, especially. So, you know, put him to the test, really. But
yeah,
he's probably calling the shots now.
Yeah.
He really is. So.
Well, that's what's really exciting about him. See, I'm really curious to see, because he's going to be taking some time off. Who's going to rise up now? Let
him take some time off.
Yeah,
I feel like.
let's stop challenging Connor. Let's see what other weight classes can start to like. Let's get some more fire going in these other places. I always thought John Jones, like if he didn't have all this other shit going on, and now he's officially suspended for a year, he'll be back.
Months.
He'll be back. You know, for 6 months, like you said. Yeah, I think they said July is what they're planning on.
Yeah, right. July.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But Dana White's saying he'll never like headline, like be the guy to do a pay-per-view, at least at first. But John Jones could easily come in, do the light heavyweight championship, get that belt back, and then start contending for the heavyweight. So he could be a 2-belt contender if he gets his shit together and stays focused. But people are always talking about when you take X amount of time off from fighting, it takes you out of the rhythm. And I think that's where Conor was kind of saying, like, that's why he didn't want to stop fighting. That's why he wanted to continue to progress and continue his legacy, to keep going, moving forward. But when you're having a kid, I think you do need to catch your breath and be like, okay, I just did a lot of shit in 2015, lot, and 2016 now, and now 2017 is like a whole different ball game now.
Right.
You're a two championship. You probably have to give up the 145, but still, you're still made history with UFC, which is phenomenal, and he did it in such a crazy way. Like all the antics, even like, leading up to it, it's just crazy. This guy is just turned the whole fight game into something completely different. I hope people are thinking like it's too much WWE. You don't know WWE because he's doing shit, but he's building up a fight. He's making it exciting. This is like Ali-esque. It's not like WWE where it's like silly shit. You know?
No. Yeah,
and I still
watch that line a little bit, but
I still hope people take him seriously because every fight he keeps winning, and he wins it in like these crazy fashions. Yeah, it's just, come on.
He's a skinny little dude.
I know.
And he's so powerful.
Yeah,
it's
that
amazing.
left hand, man. He's so accurate.
Unreal.
And what they were saying is a lot of European fighters, they grew up boxing, and then Americans grew up wrestling. So it all depends on what you're able to utilize in a fight.
Right.
And it seems like boxing's winning out. Michael Bisping, he's he's a British fighter, and he's got great boxing and kickboxing. He was a kickboxing champion back in the day, kind of like Wonder Boy Thompson. So if you're able to kind of utilize all these different skills, MMA, obviously it's a mixed martial arts. You got all these different skill levels coming together, mashing together to create a super fighter, basically.
Right.
And it seems like these, at least the Irish guys, at least Conor McGregor has been utilizing his boxing to just fucking dominate over Eddie Alvarez, who's known as a wrestler and a little bit of a brawler. But Conor came in there, he looked big, man. He looked like much bigger. It looked like Eddie Alvarez should have been the 145 champ and, reverse.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Eddie, jumped down to, 145 and started competing down there.
Yeah. Still have to take him out for the belt.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm Skinner now, bitch. Look out. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah.
Man, oh, man.
And it's on another level.
You know what? And I think as people, we can just enjoy fighting for the aspect of just knowing how much balls and how much courage and how much training and effort it takes just to get into a ring or an octagon to fight one person. There's someone right in front of you that they're either going to punch the shit out of you, they're going to try to grapple you, they're going to try to submit you.
Yeah.
It's like such a bizarre thing to think about, and it's so
Yeah.
primal. It's
Yeah.
so goddamn primal. Living in a world that is moving as far from primal as possible with
Right.
technology and making everything easy for us, and you can order some of the best food and you just go on Amazon Prime and it comes to your door in like an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
It
crazy.
is. It's a good point. Yeah. And the way it's taken off, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so expensive if you want to go watch those fights in person.
Oh, I know. There's a fight in
Unreal.
Anaheim. I wanted to look up how much tickets were going to be, but I don't even want to look now.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't even want to
It'd
look.
be cool to win or
Yeah,
treat
win
you.
tickets
I
would
don't
be
know.
badass.
Paying that much money though, I mean.
Because they've been here at the sports arena before.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be better than like going all the way up to Anaheim. But yeah, even just to be in like the like the cheaper seats would be kind of shitty, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's like a
Yeah.
certain little section that's like really good for seeing like the actual cage and seeing.
Oh,
the
it's
fight.
got to be intense live.
Oh,
you think
yeah,
football's
live.
intense.
Oh
It's just
right,
like,
yeah.
People are just at 11,
Oh,
going
yeah.
crazy or whatever. All the just testosterone in the room, stuff. So yeah, crazy.
Oh man. All right, so you want to do some recommendations?
Yeah, I only
got
got.
anything in the books?
I only got one.
Yeah.
It's the You Made It Weird podcast with Pete Holmes.
It's a great one.
He just had Whitmer Thomas on.
Oh, okay.
He's a young comedian.
He's a
from
comedian.
LA.
Yeah.
And the you think it's like, oh, it's comedian, goofy, whatever, but like Pete Holmes always kind of breaks down his guests and stuff, and you get into this personal history of Whitmer and where he comes from. And
Oh, nice.
comes from the South in Alabama and has like an interesting family life, and it was just an interesting like little journey that you go on with him, and it was a really good podcast.
Mhm.
One of those like I listen to a lot of podcasts, but like kind of takes you out of your element and like you listen to someone else's life and empathize and learn something, and I don't know, it was just like an unexpected one. And I'm excited because Pete Holmes has he's
A TV show, right?
a TV show coming out with HBO called Crashing, and they
Yeah.
finally had like a little tiny clip, advertising it on HBO
Wait,
recently.
he was talking with like a group.
Yeah,
a couple
exactly.
Of, yeah, okay, so we saw the same
It
thing.
was just
Okay.
a little snippet of
Yeah.
like things to come or whatever, but so they're actually starting to promote a little bit. But he also has a HBO stand-up special coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
Pete
when it's coming out,
Holmes.
but Pete Holmes is great, and his stand-up he's fucking fantastic.
We
So,
got to see him
yeah, we
live.
got to see him live.
Oh, so good. We saw Blake from Workaholics.
Oh, for the live podcast.
Yeah, for the live
That's right.
podcast, yeah.
And Natasha
Natasha
Leggero.
Leggero. Some dude.
Armin.
yeah.
Something from Another Period.
Another period, yeah.
We saw him do his stand-up.
Yes,
live
and
too,
yeah,
and that
stand-up was great,
a
too.
treat.
Yeah.
So,
Pete Holmes.
my recommendation.
Cannot go wrong with that.
No, not at all.
All right. My recommendation is, all right. So I follow a lot of different RV travelers, van travelers on YouTube. So I want to recommend a couple of channels. So the first channel is Chris and G Travels, and these they're a couple, and they're traveling around in a Class A RV, and it's really great because they'll go up to Alaska. So they're up in Alaska for the summer and kind of showcase their travels through Alaska, what they're doing up there. They're kind of doing, they work up there for the summer, make some money, do some work camping. It's just kind of fun to like see a different lifestyle of how people are living the nomadic life and still surviving, making money, and having a really good time too. Basically living rent-free unless they're staying at a campground or something like that, but a lot of boondocking along the way. And on their channel, Chris, he does a lot of salmon fishing, halibut fishing. So if you're into like kind of like the outdoorsy stuff,
Okay.
and usually like a YouTube video is like 10-11 minutes long, and it's just kind of nice to like just sit down and you can just kind of watch a video after, kind of binge watch their videos if you want. And then another one is Nomadic Fanatic, and then this guy, he's traveling around in his Class C RV. He's originally from the Northwest, I want to say Washington, like Olympia area. And now he's traveling. He's on the East Coast now, and it's cool because like all these van travelers and people like that, they usually do like maybe like a daily vlog, or every couple of days they'll kind of like update you on like where they're on in their travels. And a lot of people do this. Like you just go on YouTube, type in like van travel or van living or RV living or anything like that, and you'll come up with a bunch of people doing this, and it's really fun and it's motivating, especially if you're curious about a different way of living or different lifestyle, or just, hey, what the fuck are these people doing? You know, type of thing. And so yeah, I just recommend Nomadic Fanatic, Chris and G Travels. And what's great about Chris and G, you kind of get like a different perspective because it's got a couple. You got man and a woman. They do different little segments with each other. They'll open up mail, or they'll do like cooking segments. Like it's like a little TV show. It's pretty cool what people do. And I think that's about it.
That's pretty cool though.
But yeah, definitely recommend that. And then I think I really want to do, so once I move into the van, and what's kind of my plan is maybe. Originally, my plan was to do like a tiny house, build a tiny house or something, and buy some property. But I'm kind of leaning more towards like a houseboat now. I think I want to buy a houseboat.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I something about that just sounds really intriguing. But who knows? Who knows in a couple years where I'll end up? But for now, that seems real nice.
Are you talking about like one of those houseboats that are like docked? Are you talking about like a houseboat that you can actually just take off in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, obviously you can dock it, but I want something a little bit more maneuverable that I can take around from, you know, different port to port, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And then still be able to, like, if I want to, like in Mission Beach, different areas you can just you set your anchor, and I forget what they call it, but you're just like basic.
Yeah.
You're just set your anchor, and you're out there, and it's like free living basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't know. That's just something I've been looking into.
Oh, that's cool.
Obviously, I want to live the van life. I want to travel America a little bit before I get locked down. But who knows? I mean, if I find a little piece of property, I'm definitely gonna go on that, and I'm gonna build a little piece of heaven. But whew, it'd be sweet to have a houseboat. That'd be cool too.
Yeah, really.
I figure, you know what? I got plenty of time. I
really do.
I'm 31. Maybe 40 good years.
Yeah.
I'll fit a houseboat in there somewhere.
It's a long time. Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so
cool.
You can find me at Sean Evans Photo. That's Seanevansphoto, and that's on Instagram, Snapchat, all that fun stuff.
Follow Sean on Instagram. He posts amazing photos all the time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's actually where I prefer.
See what beer he's drinking.
Yeah, just go on Instagram.
It's great. And just find me on Twitter at Pacmat, PACMATT. Give us your beer recommendations.
Yeah!
It's gonna happen one of these days.
And of course, you can find Cabin Fever Podcast, iTunes, PodBeam, where else? Podcast Republic, all the other platforms. And eventually we'll get the website going too, and we can start. I would like us to do, I don't know, maybe like we could blog on there or something.
That'd be cool.
We can do our own little recommendations, throw up just little random shit that we think are funny or something like that. So
we could link to
create a nice little community.
Fake news sources.
Exactly.
I meant to talk about that. We could do it some other time.
Okay, next podcast we'll do that. All right. So, and I think on the next podcast, I still wanted this politics thing is just like it's irking at me. I would love to get a couple of other people's opinions, get the female perspective maybe,
That's a good idea.
just to kind of touch base with people and kind of see where they're at, you know. Yeah. Because we're all in the same boat right now. We're all in the same ship, so it's like I want to see what other people are thinking. Because I know what I'm thinking. I want to know what other people are thinking.
Right.
And you can only get so much from your echo chamber.
Oh
yeah.
It's infinite. Come on.
Cabin fever, fever.
That's all I need to hear. Oh, my own little world is so comfortable. All right.
Bye. Cabin Fever Podcast. Mr. Trumpet. Piano! Here we go. It's picking back up, everybody. Here we go. Outro. Cabin Fever Podcast. Play that bass. Cabin Fever Podcast.